Okay, so what really is debt consolidation, and is it just an easy term to throw around so companies can basically under-explain things? Let's get into it and find out. Welcome to the Ascend Finance YouTube channel, where we help folks understand how debt consolidation works. Keep in mind though that this video is made for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice. So one of the most popular questions I actually get is, what is the difference between debt consolidation and debt relief? And simply put, they're the same thing. I'm going to break all of that down shortly. I will say though, if you're more so looking for information on debt consolidation loans, then I'd actually just encourage you to watch a video we already made covering that, which is linked in the description. Also, I'll talk about a tool at the end of the video that'll help folks find the best debt relief company based on their zip code and debt amount. So if you're already set on debt relief, you can just click the link in the description. Or if you find that going through this video, you end up thinking debt relief's right, well, feel free to click on that link during the video. Okay. So let's talk through debt consolidation versus debt relief. As I've said, they're the same thing, right? So I will say though, if you hear a company say debt consolidation loan, then that probably wouldn't be the same thing as debt relief. I completely understand why a lot of people would think they would be actually getting a loan when they sign up for a debt consolidation program. I actually talked about this in another video, but if you Google debt consolidation, you'll actually find a bunch of definitions regarding loans. So it can actually be confusing when a company is telling you that you're signing up for their debt consolidation program, but you're not getting a loan. To simplify things, here are some terms you may hear that in reality pretty much all mean the same thing. Debt relief program, for one, that's pretty obvious. That's just a debt relief program. Debt consolidation program, same thing. Debt reduction program, same thing. Debt negotiation program, same thing. And then emergency debt relief program. I'm seeing that more now than ever, where you're seeing these ads for like emergency debt relief, emergency this, emergency that. So it's all the same things. It's all just debt relief programs. Okay, I know there are a lot of other names, like for instance, one of the most popular, debt settlement, but those are just a few I see all the time. So there's one fun or just interesting thing that all of those kind of terms have in common. And it's not that they all have debt in their name, but do you think you could guess it? I'll tell you just to save you time, but they're all extremely eye-catching for someone in debt. Basically, it tells you what you would want to hear in the fewest words possible. And I understand that a lot of businesses do this. Makes sense. Why would you have a name that's a paragraph long? But just for the fun of it, I actually wanted to put together another way to call a debt relief program if we kind of wrote it how it really is. So here's kind of what I came up with. It's long, but it's just a fun little thing. It's called Stop Paying on Debt, Put Yourself at Risk of Credit Impact, Lawsuits, and Potential Tax Obligations with a Chance of Reducing Balances by 50% program. Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? It doesn't sound fun. It was like, what did you even just say? Although the idea there is it's more descriptive and kind of an idea of what really happens in a program versus just this debt reduction program. All right, so now that I've had my fun, I kind of want to talk about the process of debt relief and how to find the right company for that. I know a lot of what I've been saying kind of sounds like I'm almost slamming debt relief in a way, but to be completely honest, there's definitely times where debt relief may be someone's best option. But when is it someone's best option? Well, let's get into the process really quick, and then I'll talk about that after. Okay, so the process, I'll lay it out in a few steps, and I'll kind of talk in between to kind of give you an idea of how each of those steps work. So the first step is actually getting the debt to a point where the creditor would be willing to settle. So if you're not behind yet, the company will tell you to stop making payments. I mean, in reality, the creditor has no incentive to settle if you're still current on it. Just a quick side note though, if you're not seeing that you will have to fall behind, then that could potentially be a decent sign that debt relief may not be the first thing to jump to, but anyhow. So the next step is actually going to be making a monthly deposit into the escrow account, which is also known as your program's monthly payment. Let me quickly jump in and just explain that this is purely a monthly deposit. Almost every company, and I understand why, will generally call it the program's monthly payment, and they'll put it over 48 to 55 months. Of course, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. But the thing is though, if you think of it as a monthly payment, it almost feels as if you're kind of paying towards something like a service or like a loan. But if you truly understand it as it is what it is, that it's purely just a deposit into an escrow account that you and the company can access. And you'll find that when you think of it that way, you may want to ask the company a few more questions. But let me explain what I mean. So all that's happening in this program is you're making a monthly payment into a bank account that the company will use to settle with the creditors. So a portion of that money in that will go to the debt. A portion of that's already allocated for the fee to have that escrow account. And the other portion of it's allocated for the debt settlement company fees. So you may be thinking then, okay, well then if the fee's already included in the monthly payment, How much is allocated for their fee? Well, that's something you probably want to ask the debt settlement company, but in generally a range between 15 to 25% of your enrolled debt. Okay, let's get into the third thing now of the whole process. So this is more of the exciting parts of it, but this is kind of the reaching a settlement. So once a settlement has been made with a creditor, the debt settlement company will set up, automatic drafts from the escrow account to the creditor. They'll also schedule out their, payments so they can schedule their fees to be paid to themselves. Sometimes they do in one lump sum, sometimes they pay their fees over time. Okay, and the final one here is graduating from the program. So once all the settlements have been made and paid for, you should potentially be graduated from the program and, in a sense, debt-free. Okay, so one question I get a lot and what I talked about earlier that I wanted to answer is, when is debt relief someone's best option? Basically, should you do debt relief? Here's what I'll say. Ultimately, it's going to be up to you. But I will say that if you're finding that you're going to have to fall behind in the debt soon, and the alternative options like Chapter 7 bankruptcy, they don't really make a whole lot of sense based on your situation specifically, then it definitely may be helpful. There are so many companies out there though, so it can kind of be hard to find the right one. We put together a quick tool, really should only take 30 seconds, that will help you kind of figure out the best debt relief company in your area based on your zip code and debt amount. We've done a bunch of research and vetting, so we're kind of trying to save you time with this tool. But anyhow, thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd prefer to not kind of fill out a form, but more so just kind of figure out the best company and you want to call us, feel free. You can give us a call at 833-272-3631 and we can get you connected. All right, have a great day.